Hi, it's Dre Griggs with Obsidian Wisdom. On today's Wisdom Wednesday, we're going to discuss the proverb, "You should not hoard your money and die of hunger." Today, we will discuss basically what is the purpose of money, why we collect it, why we're interested in it, and what we should do with it. I do believe that we often are spending a lot of time collecting it, and we're not 100% sure what we're going to do with our money. And so that's what we'll discuss today. Any thoughts or comments that you have, share them, and I'd love to read and hear about them. So, most entrepreneurs and families worry about money, so we created the Wisdometric framework to help you eradicate financial stress, generate a passive income, and build a prosperous retirement strategy. So first and foremost, right, let's talk about hoarding, right? Like, why do we hoard things, right? Some of it is an emotional attachment. Some of it is a fear of being like, oh, I really will need it later. And so you're dealing with two things. I think in most times in life, the way I've heard it described is you're either running towards pleasure or you're running away from pain. And money is one of those relationships as well that we often overlook, that we want our money to help us to feel good, and sometimes that feeling, we don't think really much deeper than just the knowledge that's like, hey, I need money. That money is going to alleviate a lot of my current stresses, right? I don't have to worry about my bills and nobody has to call me. If I have enough money that I don't have to work if I don't want to, or I could work in a different job and maybe not be paid the same, but I enjoy it so much more. Where we really end up putting, as a society, money on this pedestal. And when we put money on this pedestal, it naturally makes you think, well, that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get the money, and then once I have the money, then my life should be better. And so as a result, most people don't really discuss the spending part, like why I collected the money. So I believe the knowledge is like, okay, I know I need money. I need money to pay my bills, keep my lights on, keep the car running, things like that. But we don't get to discuss as often the understanding, why do I want this money? What am I going to spend it on? How much am I going to spend? And make sure that I still have some where I'm comfortable, where I don't have to worry about all the stresses of money, right? I do want to eliminate the financial stress, but at the same time, I also want to know that my money is generating something for me. And we talk about that with the passive income. And then most people, your largest expense is going to be your retirement. It is funding your ability to not work for a long period of time. And as a result, we end up putting money aside because we're like, okay, if I have enough money sitting aside, then there's nothing that will mess me up. And so we end up defining eliminating financial stress as just having this, Scrooge McDuck vault filled with money that we can swim in anytime we want. And so we hoard the money. So I encourage us to always start with the understanding, what am I getting this money for? Why do I want this money? Do I want to pay for my kids' college? Do I want to travel more? Do I just want to not have to work in the stressful job that I have? And then let's put an actual number to it, right? That way, most of us were stressing because we're like, okay, I need to be like a millionaire so that I don't have to worry about money. I don't know, that could be true. But you may find that you don't have to actually get that amount. Maybe you could just become a multi-thousandaire. I'm teasing. But you get the point that I'm making, that if you actually write down the things that you want, then you can say, okay, this would total to, and put that certain amount. And then you can then go a step further and say, okay, this is how much I would need in reoccurring income. This is how much money I would need consistently coming in so that I can maintain this lifestyle, that I can accomplish the goals that I have for me and my family. And that number, more times than not, is going to be lower than the number that you're thinking of, because we're often thinking, okay, if I just have, like I said, my vault full of money, then I won't have to even think about it. Well, the truth is, if we spend a little time thinking it in the beginning, then we don't have to really think about it either. So when you talk about your understanding why you want your money, that's where you start at. I want the money, and then you list the things that you want. I encourage you to get to 50 if you can, and I talk about that in the Wisdometric framework, where we talk about just designing a life, structuring your finances. If you design your life, if you write down all the goals that you have, I then encourage you to say, okay, from there, which goals would I want to accomplish in 1 year? Which goals would I want to accomplish in 3, 5, or 10? Or if it's just more than 10, usually the 10 is the highest number, so you'll say like 10 plus. And the way I've heard the example put is if you have a jar and you have like boulders, small pebbles, and sand, how would you fill the jar up? You have to put the boulders in first because that's the only way they're going to fit. And then you have to put the pebbles in second. And then you have to put the sand in third because the sand fills in every nook and cranny. The boulders have to go in first. If you put the pebbles in or the sand in first, the boulders won't fit. And what they represent in your life is your overall goals that you have, like life goals, and you really only have like two or three of those, just things that will take your whole life to accomplish essentially. But then you have some goals that are medium goals, that maybe those goals just need a good 5 year plan. And then you have your short-term goals, which are, I'm going to say, are 1 to 3 year goals. If you spend all of your time focusing on your short-term goals, an example, that one that I struggle with, and I'll just put myself on Front Street. I like my house to be clean. I just like the feeling of a clean house. My mom was big on doing that. She instilled that in me. Having a dirty house, I feel like it's like my mind is cluttered. Like I have to have a clean house so that I can then have a clear mind. And so as a result, I would end up spending like the first several hours of my day, like making sure the house is clean so I then could start my day. Well, I end up running out of time. So I have the clean house at the beginning of the day, but as you know, when you have like kids and stuff, your house is dirty by the end of each day. So if you have to clean your house at the beginning of each day, then you ultimately end up kind of wasting away several hours each day. And then you don't get that feeling of the clean house for very long when you have kids. Now we've shared the load now. So the kids do a lot more as far as the chores, and they're able to help a lot so that I'm able to make sure I focus on the things that I need to get done, but also at the same time that I have that clean house feeling that I do feel like I perform better in. And so I had to take a step back and be like, okay, Dre, cleaning your house, that is a very short term goal. The long term goal that you need, that's where you should start each day. The numbers and the studies show that you peak somewhere. I don't know. I think it says like maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning that your brain is like optimal if you went to sleep at a decent time, and then around noon it kind of teeters off, and then from there it pretty much like kind of goes downhill, just decision fatigue. And I talk about that in my book Champion of Change, which I feel like I'm going to ultimately change the name of it. The name just didn't really work for me, but I'm getting on a side tangent. Anyways, you have to design each day in a way where, okay, I only have 24 hours in a day, and Oprah has the same 24 hours. Like The Rock has the same 24 hours, and someone who lives in poverty has the same 24 hours. What am I doing with that time? And you have to say each day, I'm going to accomplish something towards my life goals, and then I'm going to accomplish something towards my medium goals, and then I'm going to accomplish something that's towards my smaller goals. But I have to spend some time on my long-term goals each day. And so when you know exactly what you want, then you won't be hoarding the money because you have a place that the money is going to go. You have already allocated it, and you have intentionalness in your life. And so as a result, now you don't have to hoard anything. Most of the time we hoard things is because we just don't know exactly what tomorrow's going to hold. So we're like, maybe I'll need it tomorrow. If you design your life in a very intentional way, sure, you won't know exactly everything that's going to happen tomorrow, but you'll be more comfortable spending the money because the money is already put away for tomorrow. You've already put the money away in the emergency fund. You've already put the money away in your passive income fund. You've already put the money away in your retirement fund. All that stuff is already taken care of. So the money that's left, you can comfortably say, okay, I can spend that. That money can go towards my short-term, desires and needs where I just really want. That smells really good. I just want to stop and buy that. Or where that looks really good. I just want to buy that and wear it. Or where that drives really nice. So I just want to buy that because you've already allocated the money first towards your long-term, your large goals, your medium-term, your medium goals, and then your short-term, which is just kind of like just the things that you like without having to think about it. And really, that ultimately is what you want to do. You don't want to be hoarding your money because you're not so sure about tomorrow that you forget to feed yourself today. That eating is important, that eating quality food is important. I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments about the proverb today. I'd love to hear if you agree or disagree with me. Share them. I'll make sure I respond to them. But if you have any additional questions about your retirement planning needs or just putting your finances in order, I encourage you to check out my Retirement Planning That Works video training at obsidianwisdom.com/training. In it, I give you the entire Wisdometric framework that I use with my clients to help them eradicate financial stress, generate a passive income, and build a prosperous retirement strategy. Until next time, Wisdomites, remember, wisdom is asking the right questions to allow yourself to get the right answers. Keep asking those questions and you will keep getting those answers. Continue blessings.